what exactly is truth? Is it possible to know?
I think Spinoza is right about truth, that truth is only known by its own standard, which sounds circular. There's a way in which he didn't mean that circularly, and I think this is also converges with Plato. These are two huge influences on me. I think we only know the truth retrospectively when we go through some process of self-transcendence, when we move from a frame to a more encompassing frame so that we can see the limitations and the distortions of the earlier frame. You have this when you have a moment of insight. Insight is you are re-realizing what is relevant. You go, oh, I thought she was aggressive and angry. She's actually really afraid. I was misframing this, right? And you change what you find relevant. You have those aha moments.
So do you think it's possible to get a sense of objective reality? So is it possible to get to the ground level of something that you can call objective truth? Or are we always on shaky ground?
I think those moments of transcendence can never get us to an absolute view from nowhere. And so this is Drew Hyland's notion of finite transcendence. We are capable of self-transcendence, and therefore we are creatures who can actually raise the question of truth or goodness or beauty, because I think they all share this feature. But that doesn't mean we can transcend to a godhood, to some absolute view from nowhere that takes in all information and organizes it in a comprehensive whole. But that doesn't mean that truth is thereby rendered valueless. I think a better term is real. And real and illusory are comparative terms. You only know that something's an illusion by taking something else to be real. And so we're always in a comparative task, but that doesn't mean that we can somehow jump outside of our framing in some final manner and say, this is how it is from a God's eye point of view.
So what do you think, if I may ask, of somebody like Ayn Rand and her philosophy of objectivism? So where the core principle is that reality exists independently of consciousness, and that human beings have direct contact with reality through sense perception. So they have that, you do have that ability to know reality.
There's two things. Knowing that there's an independent reality is not knowing that independent reality. Those are not the same thing.
Yeah, but I think objectivism would probably say that our human reason is able to have contact with that.
Then I would respond and say, you have to, I believe, in fact, ultimately in a conformity theory of knowing that that the deepest kind of knowing is when there's a contact, a conformity between the mind, with the embodied mind, and reality. And here's where I guess I'd push back on Rand. I would say you have to acknowledge partial knowledge as real knowledge, because if you don't, you're going to fall prey to Meno's paradox. Meno's paradox is, this is in Plato, right? To know P. Well, if I don't know P, I'm going to go looking for it. But if I don't know P, how could I possibly recognize it when I found it? I have no way of recognizing it. I have no way of knowing that I've found it. So I must know P. But if I know P, then I don't need to learn about it. I don't need to go searching. So learning doesn't exist. Knowledge is impossible. The way you break out of that paradox is saying, no. It is possible to partially know something. I can know it enough that it will guide me to recognizing it, but that's not the same as having a complete grasp of it, because I still have to search and find what I don't yet possess in my knowledge. Partial knowledge has to be real knowledge.
Right. Partial knowledge is still knowledge.
Yes.